For our U.S. history class, we have chosen Washington at Valley Forge for our crash course assignment. Valley Forge is a military camp in southeastern Pennsylvania. This is a camping site for the Continental Army preparing for the British. Valley Forge is a place where the Americans became a true fighting unit.
The Americans faced many troubles in the winters of 1777 and 78. The British recklessly marched into the largest city, Philadelphia, forcing the Continental Army to flee west. Washington and his troops showed massive determination and courage in the Battle of Brandywine and the Battle of Germantown, but yet were unable to keep the British out of the largest city. Rather than waiting for deliverance, the soldiers obtained supplies, built log cabins, fashioned makeshift clothing and gear, and cooked meals of their own. The food supply, though never abundant in the early months of the encampment, was usually adequate. The encampment saw basically 2 periods of severe cold. The end of December with a low 6 degrees, and the end of March with a low of 8 degrees. The low in January reached 12 degrees, and February was 16 degrees. The troops arrived at Valley Forge on the 19th of December, and 8 days later, the deepest single snow of the season fell, which was followed by the severest cold.
In December, the troops began to storm into the Valley Forge feeling sick, having some sort of diseases. The army camped in log cabins to help with the cold conditions. The British had a huge advantage when it came to health. The British would pay people gold and silver to feed them crops. Each man in the Continental Army was issued a pound of meat a day, either beef, salt, or pork, and fish. A pound of flour was also given to the men, built in with some vegetables if you were lucky. Diseases alone killed 2/3 of the people.
Some of these diseases were dysentery, influenza, typhoid, and typhus. These diseases and sicknesses killed over 2,500 men. Only 2,000 men came along to Valley Forge for the U.S., and the British had 15,000. Typhoid today is a very rare disease, with only 299 cases in the U.S. It's very common during wars.
This document was made by George Washington and urgent for new supplies and men. In the first few lines, he says, "I take the liberty of transmitting you the enclosed return, which contains a state of the New Hampshire regiments. By this you will discover how deficient, how exceedingly short they are of the complement of men, which of right according to the establishment they ought to have." Thanks for watching our crash course video over Washington at Valley Forge. I'm Pete.
I'm Kevin.
Thanks again.